I'm back now. One more second. Let's just test this. Default. Okay, here we go. Okay. Okay, how's it now? Are we good? Are we good? Hopefully everything's good now. Okay. So everybody, thanks for joining on this Saturday. Sorry, my microphone just died, so I'm going to have to get it fixed for the next show. These things happen. So anyway, today we're going to be talking about salmon, beer, and everything else that you could possibly imagine that could be positive for you today. So as I was saying, everybody, please, I've been banned on Facebook once again. So please go to my YouTube channel, which is up here in the comments. Click subscribe, and please click the bell, and that will let you know that I'm talking and yapping about something that maybe we all want to talk about. So I wanted to use this as a quick minute to just give everybody out there an update on my cancer. Last time we talked, I was having a lot of severe side effects, and the doctor actually pulled me off my medicine because I was reaching a level of toxicity where I was having muscle spasms every few minutes, and no medicine was affecting it. So we took some blood tests, and there were definitely some problems. So what they've done is they have removed me from the medicine for a little while. So what we're going to do is, yes, so it's all part of a bigger change anyway. With everything going on the way that it is, I've got a film coming out this fall that I can't really talk about right now, but it will address pollution, cancer, and be part of my mission. But so much is going on right now, and I think that now is the time to get back out in the field and to try to help in any way that I can. So I'm packing everything up here in Los Angeles, and I will be leaving here pretty soon. So it's kind of interesting. I've been going through trying to find ways to get rid of everything. And when you're me, getting rid of everything means, what do I do with my leftover machete from the Amazon? You know, and you think about it, like, I mean, somebody could pull it out of a dumpster and it could be a weapon. So it's kind of interesting. Also, I'm finding ways to, recycle my mosquito nets and other essentials that I take with me. I'm going to buy a new mosquito net because mine has got some holes in it, and I found out the hard way. So, you don't want that. Anyway, excuse me. So, salute everybody. This is my travel mug, and it's always good to have a travel mug, a recycle mug. Please don't go to the coffee shop. Please don't go to the coffee shop and get a mug from them. You're going to waste plastics. And, even the paper cups that they use have plastic around them. And it's involved in the construction of the cup. So you can't really win. Take your own cup. Mine's a Yeti. I love this thing. It's great. I take it all around the world with me. And it's always wonderful. So anyway, please subscribe to YouTube channel. I'm going to start travels soon, and we're going to be going around the world showing you all forms of conservation and different kinds of adventures. And I'm very excited. We have a lot of interesting things coming up, and I can't wait. We'll be able to share it all very soon, very soon. So anyway, let's go back to the news today. So, the reason that we like to have coffee together is that in this time of stress, everybody's kind of stressed out. And if you're like me, you just don't have friends to sit and have coffee with. And the moment you bring up conservation, everybody rolls their eyes and they go, oh, I don't want to hear this. Something terrible about what I did today. But you know what? There's a lot of good in conservation. And we need to make sure that we can use those as our bridges to allow us to open the doors of conversation about conservation to our friends and even to our non-friends, maybe our frenemies. It's good to talk to everybody. Hey, Scott, all Florida needs you, brother. Scott, oh my gosh. Scott, you know what, Scott, I actually, it's something that I'm going to be working on this weekend, but I think we need to do an online roundtable, and we need to have everybody that's concerned about the Florida water get together, and let's have a conversation. I'll be more of a moderator, less of a speaker, but I would really like to have everybody come together and start to put their heads together in an online space that might be easier for everybody. And Scott, things down there are crazy. And with all the weather going on, it reminds you that no matter how good a company like U.S. Sugar or Mosaic plans to not spill their toxins into your world, they will. Because look at this weather. And not only that, but the glyphosate's been going up. And as I understand it, GMO created wasps or something GMO created mosquitoes. Crazy. Anyway, Scott, yes, you definitely are part of what we want there on this roundtable. So I'll have more information up with that soon too. Hey, cheers to my friends over in Cambodia. Right there, Sakun. That's the man that Neem, that I, like I said, I was on a boat with. We defended the MPAs. We defended the seahorses together, and a lot of heart goes into that. And that's what's incredible. I mean, I'm lucky because I get to travel and meet so many amazing activists around the world. And most activism is born out of locality. People look around and say, we don't want this anymore. And it's really beautiful, the difference one person can make. And I've seen it around the world in every walk of life. One person can change the world around them, guaranteed. We always talk about changing the world. That doesn't matter. Change the world around you. Whatever's right around you, that, if we all do that, will change the world. So some good news. We've all been in lockdown. We've all been going a little nutty with the COVID thing. It's brought out a lot of different interesting conversations. But let's take the positive while we're here. Okay. All right, here we go. So, sorry about that. I've got, with my microphone off, everything's a bit of a mess right now. So, you probably already read this, as people around the world consume less oil, gas, and coal, electricity generated from the wind and sun will keep flowing. What that means is that we have this new forward movement of natural resources, and we have this decline in use of fossil fuel and coal. And this is great news because this is an 8% decline in the global carbon dioxide emissions this year, which is fantastic. And that is according to a report from the IEA, which is the International Energy Agency. So that's really great news, everybody. I think that that's super cool. So I'm really, really happy about that. So the next item of exciting news that we're going to go to is over in Seattle and near Washington, near my friends over there in Bremerton. They're actually, well, it's kind of far from Bremerton, but anyway, same general area, part of the world. So dams have become a massive problem in a lot of the world. And what we're finding in Washington State is that they're actually preventing the salmon and the steelhead from being able to make it into their natural progress, which is to come in through the oceans, come up, find a place to spawn, but then they also, from spawning, they have a different place where they raise their babies. And the dams actually stopped all this. So recently, Washington has been on a huge movement to remove these dams. And I say, good on you, Washington. This is excellent news. So in the Pilchuck River, which is near Granite Falls, Washington's dam busting summer is still rolling on. 2 more coming down, opening 37 miles of habitat to salmon. Now, for people that don't know what's happening in Washington, there's a massive problem with salmon right now. And what's happening is all these dams are preventing the salmon's natural patterns. So the tribes that survive on capturing salmon, those tribes are suffering. The orcas and all the whales that need to eat this are dying out. So we have a massive problem up there where there's not enough salmon to feed nature and people. And it's kind of been converted into just a people business. So it's a lot of the animals are starving there. And many of you I know follow the stories up there in the Pacific Northwest, and you've seen what happens. And they've been trying to solve this for a long time. So this is great news. The salmon is now back, getting closer to being able to pull off its natural flow. And if any of my friends are up there, I would love to hear how the progress is going. And you know what, Camilla, you're right. It's such a delicate ecosystem when it's interrupted. You know, it's incredible because nobody, I mean, the problem with the dam is it's an unintended consequence, but you know, we have to remember that the knowledge from the dam goes back to before we had a lot of knowledge. You know, it was like the 40s, where they only knew so much. And things have luckily changed a lot since then, and I think some of these ideas need to be rethought as well. And now dams are not only a problem over there, but I mean, dams are actually a big problem. I found out when I went to the Amazon. This is Belo Monte, which is one of the largest dams. It's supposed to generate some of the most amount of hydroelectric power in the world. Now, they built this dam. This is in Brazil. Now, you got to remember that the Amazon starts on one side of Brazil, and it goes all the way, and it empties out through the other side in Peru and Colombia. Right? So it spans the entire continent. There are currently over 600 dams for the Amazon, which will destroy everything, including the pink dolphin's ability to survive. And so what happened was when this dam was starting to be built, there was a lot of activists that went out there and tried to stop it. They actually went in and occupied the dam. But then as we know and as we can see internationally right now, whenever there is civil protests and civil disobedience, as Henry David Thoreau called it, then there's also going to be the guns that will try to stop civil disobedience and bring things back to the status quo for the for the landowners. So now I wanted to just point this out because again, this is the Amazon up here. Now up on the right near Amapa, you can see that area. That is where the Amazon River enters from the Atlantic right there, see? And it goes all the way across. So again, there are over 600 dams being proposed inside of the Amazon. When I was traveling, we went 1,500 kilometers. We never saw any dams. So that was good news, I think, you know, and that it's good because a lot of people are fighting it now. What they're trying to do is create more electric systems, basically. What's happening there, and this is also a sign of what's happening everywhere, is they want to build more communities, right? They just want more construction. So what they do is they find ways of creating electric systems. Now in the Amazon, that's very difficult to get electricity. We had generators and stuff. I was in a town where there was maybe 40 people, and what they did is they had the generator at the police station. So they would run it during the day. And, you know, they're so noisy. So they'd run 3 or 4 of them, so everyone had electricity in the town. And it was actually a volunteer project by the police that enabled that town to have electricity for that time period. And I remember the best part was, well, we rolled up and they immediately took our passports. And it was a very nice way of being under police watch. But they said to us, you're going to have to sleep in our jail cells for your own safety, but you're going to have to sleep in there. And we're going to keep your passports while you're in our village. And we're like, okay. But one thing I loved is you come in from a day of scouting work, and come in and find that all these kids would be sitting around a TV in the police station just watching cartoons, and it was really great. It was a real community sense that you don't see here very often. So anyway, another again just positive sides of difficulties, and that's what we're all about here. That's what Revolution Through Routine is about. That's what I'm personally about. You know, you got to take what's bad and you got to make it good, because kindness, as you see the word behind me right here, is going to be one of the things that can propel us forwards. So it's something to always be considered. So now another one that we wanted to talk about today real fast is there's been in the news in America, we had a rollback of the NEPA, which is the National Environmental Protection Act. Sounds important, right? So real quick, I just wanted to share with everybody, I don't know if you're aware of this, but NEPA was rolled back. So there are three major issues that NEPA that contains that we just need to discuss about what we need to do. Hey, Gina, good morning. Happy Saturday to you. I hope you're having a wonderful coffee or tea right now. Thanks for joining us. Us group of misfits here that love to talk about conservation while we're waking up, having our coffee, hanging out. And we need good, positive stories. Now, this one is a little tricky. I just wanted to let everybody know this, that the three rollbacks that have happened with Andrew Wheeler's change of NEPA is that the environmental studies will have to be completed in only 1 to 2 years. That is actually about a third of what it used to be in order to allow companies to move into places. Now, this is good for companies, bad for the citizens that have to live near the pollution that they extract. And we've all seen the pollution. If you haven't seen it, look at what's happened in Louisiana with those massive chemical plant fires going on right now. And now they're warning that people are just dying of carbon monoxide poisoning because these plants are on fire. And you can't have a true disaster plan. There's just no way if you're a company. So, you know, we need to make sure these companies and us as the residents find a way to work together to where they're not killing us and going off and buying islands from the money from our deaths. So that's one of the rollbacks on NEPA that I think is a very important one. The second one is that certain activities will be exempt from environmental reviews altogether. So they're removing the review of a lot of cancer-causing toxins. For me as a cancer patient, this is a massive, massive issue, and this is something more we're going to talk about in the future. Number 3, federal agencies will no longer have to consider projects' cumulative effects on the environment. Now, the head of the government affairs director at the Center for Biological Diversity said this may be the single biggest giveaway to polluters in the past 40 years. So it's not positive eco news, but it's eco news you need to be aware of. And the only thing we can do is just make sure that whoever we're voting for on whatever side of the fence we happen to be on are people that will be willing, you think, to consider ecological impact. Now, you know, the reason that this removal of these three things from NEPA is problematic is, for example, you have the cumulative, and that's being removed, which means that they're only ever going to test at certain times, right? So, for example, when emissions happen, what they do is they spurt. It's not like they just pound out emissions, but they will do the really toxic stuff in these things called spurts, right? So what they do is, for example, in Louisiana, they will do the most toxic spurts of water while it's during the weekend when nobody's monitoring the air pollutants. So that allows companies to create a fake public record of safety while still poisoning everybody. And it's really tricky and it's really, really dangerous. And, you know, as I always say, if we can just stop one person from having to go through what I've been through with my cancer, then I think it's our obligation. I mean, we don't need these environmental cancers, and they can be stopped. People don't have to go through this just so companies can survive. There's got to be a spot in between. Hey, Elena, bună ziua. It's nice to see you on today from Romania. Thank you, thank you. I say mulțumesc. And yes, I'm practicing my Romanian. I'm actually going to be going over there too in a little bit. And of course, that's part of the adventures coming up. So But now for some really great news. So anyway, I wanted to really bring us up to some real super positive news. And this news has to do with drinking beer. Now, the other day we talked about how eating more chocolate, the right kind of chocolate, can help the environment. Same thing with beer. I didn't know that beer was a major contributor to CO2 emissions because a lot of these beer companies, processors, and the craft brewers buy so much CO2, right, compressed. And the problem is that the way to recycle the CO2 is so expensive that the little craft brewers don't have any chance. Big companies, like your major company, everywhere I've traveled in the world, the country always seems to have one national brew. It's really cool. Everywhere you travel, Cambodia, everybody has that one brand that is their national brew. And a lot of those major companies have actually been able to buy these CO2 capture machines, but a lot of the craft brewers haven't. But if you're like me and you like craft beer and you want to support your local craft beer people, the good news is it's all going to be okay soon because it's not going to be in conflict with your ethics in the environment. It's really cool. There's a machine that these guys, they named it CC, which is short for carbon capture. It's a fridge-sized machine, and it's this Texas startup, Earthly Labs. So what they're going to do is really cool. They're using carbon capture science originally designed by NASA for use on Mars. So cool. And it's going to go into make our beers healthier for the environment. So thank you, NASA. Thank you, Texas, for always being a random wild card. We never know what's going to happen from Texas. Could be great stuff, could be scary stuff, but good on you. I mean, look, Texas is the center of the oil gas industry that is destroying the environment internationally bit by bit. But look at this. The good thing about Texas is it's much like Florida. It's an exploited area, and people are fighting back. Beautiful, beautiful to see. Anyway, the best thing about this is brewers can reduce their monthly carbon expenses by 50 to 100%, which means that they can recycle this carbon without having to buy more, which is going to be good for the small companies. So they now have this technology available to them. Excellent, excellent. So they did a test program, and I wanted to share with everybody. So far, the program has been a win-win. The Denver Beer Company recapturing the equivalent of 93 trees worth of CO2. Isn't that amazing? From hitting the atmosphere. 93 trees worth of CO2. And by the way, that company and 15% reduced costs. Win-win. So it saves their pocketbooks and it saves our environment. And anytime something can save everybody on both sides of the transaction, from the company down to the resident and the buyer, then that is a win-win. It's something to support. And they did name their beer, by the way, 93 trees after how many they saved just by doing this simple process. So super cool news. Beer is another thing. I didn't even think about the fact that it had a big CO2 impact until I was reading about this. But the good news is beer is good for you. So unlike most conservationists, I will encourage you to eat some chocolate, drink some beer, enjoy some fruits. Just make sure you're doing it responsibly. Make sure the chocolate comes from the proper cacao companies and the proper fair trade companies, that it's not Nestle or somewhere that's, using child slaves or exploitational processes. We got to remember, everything we do now is the world around us. Like, it's kind of weird. I mean, it didn't used to be, what we used to make used to be more national. You grab a Mars bar, you grab a whatever, and it was chocolate that was made here, imported, not through exploited purposes. But, we have to be so careful now. So again, buy through your ethics. Kindness. Oops, there it is. Kindness is the key. Hey, Lola, thank you for joining today. And the reason I say kindness, I'm very excited, guys. I just started to now be sponsored by a group called Kind Humans. And I don't know if you're familiar with them. Just so you know, they don't pay me to talk about them or anything like that. But Kind Humans it's a website I'm excited to be part of, because what they do is they actually have a lot of these B Corps that are good for the environment. And they got that guy. Sorry. But what I'm saying is you can go to this website, which is beautiful, and they have this store, right? And so look, you can go to, if you come down to the store, you can go to all the stores. You have B Corporation, causes, you've got everything going on here, and you can shop. Look, 1% for the planet. This is all the best way to go. Huda Babe, Chewable Charm. One of my personal favorites is No Tox Life, which is, I believe, somewhere in there as well. And No Tox Life comes from Los Angeles. And what they do is remove toxic plastics in both the products and also in the packaging. So when you buy packaging, you're not destroying the world around you. So there's a lot of great solutions right now. Kindness being one of them. You know, my dad used to always say that he thought that if they taught school, if they taught school in music, in songs, everybody would always remember everything. You know, because we always remember our favorite lyrics. You know, and it's something similar to that, where the Rastas believe in the power of creation. You know, we talk about doing good deeds and paying it forward, but those are actions and but more so, words and thoughts also can project kindness, and they actually create a change. Now, the reason that I bring this up, you know, I got this wonderful opportunity to work on a documentary about reggae music and its history through the Rastafarian culture. And one of the beauties that they do is they believe in the Old Testament, where they say that it all started with the breath. And so they do believe that your words can create negative or positive changes in the entire universe. So one thing that I'm very proud of with the Kind Humans, and this is great, is, as they say, kindness, pass it on. And it's just that simple. You know, it's just that simple. And when we talk about reducing emissions, we're talking about kindness to the people around these plants. When we're talking about saving the environment, we're talking about kindness to the people that live in those areas and the animals that live in those areas. When we're talking about access to clean water, free clean water, we're talking about kindness. Kindness underlays everything. And right now, when I look around, I see a lot of discord, and I don't see the levels of kindness that I once saw, and things, you know, it's not the time for it, but we have to remember that kindness is the answer moving forward. We have to be positive, and we have to be kind. And being kind means that you're empathetic and you're considerate and you're compassionate about everyone else's needs and perspectives. We're never going to be a world that's going to move forward if we're worried about us. We got to always be worried that we're moving forward together in unison, and to be able to be compassionate. And that's why I love conservation conversation. We talk and we listen to people's ideas. So remember, you know, it all blends in together. Kindness, the more you say the word, the more that word goes out into the world, the more energy that word takes on life, and the more we have a change in where our world is headed right now. So please be kind. Please be kind not only to other people, but be kind to yourself in this very difficult time we're all going through, where everybody's questioning so much and at home and stuck. Remember, look at today, right? Remember, you're part of a community always. Remember that we're always here. You know, we are an international niche. We may be a niche, and you might not be able to go talk about the environment or veganism or even how you see environmental politics to anybody in your family or your other friends or whatever, but you can here, because you got to remember that we are not alone. We're all together here. So, yes, I really think that everything is, you know, we need this, and we need the win. Be good to yourself. Take a half hour out for yourself every day. Remember that the world will be screaming with white noise when you finish taking that time for yourself. And, you know, the sad thing is a lot of people used to go to the environment for this time to themselves. Like Scott Wilson would go to the environment to get this sort of Zen peace. And now the environment has been polluted so bad. And we all know that, you know, nobody's going to come in and help us. There's a new Aaron Brockovich book that looks awesome. I can't wait to read it, called Superman is Not Coming. and it's about how to make changes on our own local levels. So yes, remember, be kind to yourself. That'll emanate to all those around you, and just like a ripple effect, it'll just go wider and wider and wider. And the only way we can fight all of this destruction to our environment and all of this exploitation of our animals and exploitation of our resources is through demanding positivity and fighting back with love. And we're not going to go tear their factories down, but we are going to demand change. Like Andrew Wheeler, it's the first thing we can do is get rid of that guy. Public enemy number one. Former coal lobbyist, now runs our EPA. You can't, nobody would believe me if it wasn't Googleable. Anyway, yes, Camilla, I agree. Kindness towards animals too. Choose compassion. Every time you meet a stray, every time you see an animal that may be in danger, every time you see an animal that's not in danger, you have an opportunity to change the fabric of the universe by how you interact. And I believe in that, and I do believe in that. And a lot of people don't, and that's okay too. But we do what we can, right? Anyway, everybody, I'm really glad that we got together today. I was banned again. In case you're just tuning in, I was banned on Facebook. So if I don't respond to you, I'm sorry. It's not my fault. If you need me and you're not able to get a hold of me on Facebook, everybody can. I'm going to type in my email address. Everybody can email me, okay? At Proton Mail, which is another great one, by the way. So remember, there's a lot of changes in thinking. And those of us that love compassion, that want to remind the world that we're not in competition, we're in collaboration. There's a lot of people that do not like to see us collaborating, because the more we collaborate, the stronger our voice gets, the more change has to happen. So that's my email. Please, if you are ever just need to talk to anybody, or you have any ideas for shows or anything, please contact me. That's my email. If you can't reach me on Facebook, friends, and even strangers, anybody, just you can email me there. Okay, no worries. And I don't know how long I'm going to be banned for, because the thing about me being banned is that I talk about Andrew Wheeler, suddenly, boom, I'm banned. So I'm trying it again now. I'm talking about Andrew Wheeler again, but they would not tell me what I was banned for, and they would not tell me for how long I was banned. And I know this happens to a lot of my friends. This is the new face of social media. There is a certain amount of issue with, in a sense, routing things and rewriting the now. It used to be that we would rewrite history in history books, but with social media being an active functioning thing, they're actually able to rewrite the now and change the cultural narrative that we all share together. So it's kind of weird, and we have to keep finding safe meeting spaces. So I'm going to be taking my show on the road, everybody. We'll have a few more shows here in Los Angeles, but I'm hoping everybody is going to join with me. And, I'm somebody with cancer. I'm mad. I want some answers, and I want some change. And I know there's a lot of people out there that feel the same way. That's my focus. It's what we're going to go for. And we are going to go expose and discuss problems and solutions, because there's no point in talking about problems unless you have a solution. By the way, solution to Andrew Wheeler, please check out the League of Conservation Voters, lcv.org. You can check it out, and they actually have scorecards, lcv.org. And League of Conservation Voters. I did it wrong. League of Conservation Voters. Sorry, everybody. My brain has this haze from this cancer medication I've been on. It's hard. Everything's very, sometimes the words just aren't there. So, apologize for that. But please check out the League of Conservation Voters.org. They will give you an environmental scorecard for everybody on both sides of the aisle, as they call it. So let's see if we can't change things on both sides of the aisle and bring in some environmentally conscious politicians, because we've seen what happens when lobbyists start running important things like the EPA. It all falls apart. So we need somebody back in there, maybe some conservationists. Why don't they allow appointments? Why don't they allow us to run for these positions instead of just appointing former lobbyists? It's just absurd. So it's another part of the government we need to change. Anyway, thank you everybody for being here for another Conservation Coffee. It was an impromptu one today. We will be back soon, and I'll see you guys very soon. I hope everybody, remember, take care of yourself. Always try to just take some time and remember to see the world through a filter of kindness that'll lead to calmness, and that'll lead to so many effects that you don't even see. It has ripple effects in the universe you're not aware of. And everyone has so much power and so much importance. And if everybody starts to practice this, we'll see changes. So thank you, Coralie. Great to see you on here. I thank you, Coralie, for all of your fighting that you're doing for the environment right now. I know you're doing a lot, and it's a really thankless, tireless job. So I want to say thank you from my heart, because you do a lot of work out there, and you're a great example of activism. So thank you again for being on, everybody, and everybody have a great day. Remember, there's good news, and yes, eat some good ethical chocolate, enjoy some yummy ethical beer, and you can change the planet just by enjoying yourself. Take care, everybody. It's our world. Let's talk about it. See you soon.